Today we're going to be going into the psionic grouping. But before we get too far in it, last episode I did break down the martial and technician basic ability, but now I need to break down the other two. So the spellcasters has one called Spell Shot. This allows for you to have a basic amount of damage that scales with your Arcana modifier. Now the benefit to this is no matter what, just like the martials, you will have an attack that you can still do damage. It won't be grandly impressive, but it can be unique depending on what class you pick. Based off of the class you pick, it can modify that, giving you an extra type. At base, it does just pure magic damage. But let's say you pick an elementalist. With the elementalist, you will pick elemental affinities, and for every one that you pick, you have an extra option. So when you choose your basic ability of Spell Shot, you can choose magic damage or fire, ice, or lightning, depending on the elemental affinities you chose. Now, something like a necromancer, this could end up being poison. With a restorationist, this is interesting because our system would say that anything undead would be damaged by a healing spell, but it would be a healing spell towards your allies. So this allows for it to be multi-purpose and fit more of the restorationist type of design. So, with the psionic is actually the only grouping that has one class, because there's no way to variate it. It's all energy produced from your mind. So in this fashion, we have one class, but a wide variety of your subclasses. For the basic ability with the psionics, it comes from your subclass. So depending on what subclass you pick, will depend on what your basic ability is. You have something that's more like a psionic warrior. They will produce weapons and armor out of psionic energy. They're most likely going to have a basic attack. But something like the Psicaster, who will use psionic energy to impact you with physical almost effects. This will allow them to be able to have something that boosts and is unique to them. In this way, no matter what psionic you build, you'll have a basic ability that fits your playstyle. On to the features. The first one is Pineal Flow, and like all the first ability and features I mentioned, whenever we go over one of these, it is the one that helps you get your type of energy back. So for this one, you'll be able to roll an ability die and get some Psionic back. Your second one is Domain Expansion, and this one is very important because all your psionic abilities have less restriction on them except for the domain. So as you are growing in level, your domain will be able to expand. This is you expanding your consciousness to create a domain, at which any of your effects, including your ability to pick up on psionic or energy or thoughts, is all present throughout this area. So this is where it comes into play on leveling with your character. Psionic Potence is the next one. This will, as it grows and increases with your level, will allow you to lift heavier objects and move them faster. It's as simple as that. Mystic Affinity is very similar to Magical Affinity, but instead of magical items, it allows you to use mystical items. Certain items require you to be able to pump Psionic through them or have at least a high enough mysticism stat. This is so that there is something similar for psionics. There will be items that can be imbued through psionic imbuing. This will allow you to have items like sentient items instead of them being magical in other systems. In ours, it's mysticism. Simply because this will be the difference between the magic version, which has a soul trapped in it, and the psionic version, which is a created consciousness meant to be a part of that item. And as I've said before, all groupings have muscle memory, and just like spellcasters, they are limited to 2 at max. So let's get started with the abilities. The first is Clear Mind. This will help you to hide your psionic presence from anyone who can detect it. Mainly going to be other psionics. As mentioned in the previous one, Detect Thoughts is how you would detect conscious energy. So this is your ability to detect that. The third one is Mind Wipe. This allows you to wipe the current thoughts out of some NPC's mind, including a player character. Just don't be a dick. But this was a lot better named than Brain Fart. Read environment is the next one. This will allow you to read off of the environment the conscious and sentient energy, allowing you to pick up on events and conversations that happen in an area within a limited time since it's happened. Read mind is as simple as it sounds. It allows you to read someone's mind. The only restriction is for mental fortitude. And lastly, send message. Again, it's as simple as it sounds. It allows you to send a message into someone else's mind through psionic means. As I mentioned earlier, we have differences between magic and psionics, so I was going to go over that real quickly before we ended the video. So where magic can change its type between healing, killing, fire, illusion, and these various things, that is not the same for mysticism. It is able to change shape and form, but not necessarily be anything more than a kinetic type energy. It will impact you more physical, where it depends on the type or form, and the type of magic it is for its effect. Another difference is that where magic is limited to your ability to shoot it there, or to contact with somebody, the only limitations on psionics is your domain. And all things that are consciousness related are now psionics. We use this to give them a unique identity and not just be mental powered magic. We wanted it to be unique in our setting, so anyone playing a mystic actually has a unique gameplay style, as well as it feels unique and fun in its own ways. Do check out our other 3 grouping videos and check my profile for the early access link to the playtest document. Go ahead and come and tell us what you think about it. But until then, and I'll catch you later.